Okay, guys. Hey, had a couple of my students struggling with hitting the driver recently, so I've been trying to explain to them that the sequence for every golf club in the bag is the same other than putter or specialty chips. But other than that, the sequence I'm moving my body through to hit a golf ball is identical, whether it's a chip shot or it's a pitch shot or I'm hitting a driver. But the distribution of my weight at impact is dramatically different. So I'm going to explain that for a second. We're going to talk a little bit about the driver and why it's unique. So if I was hitting a short iron, which is like a pitching wedge, and maybe even up until about an 8-iron for me, I'm going to set up, and I'm still going to have the same sequence. So when we're talking sequence, if you haven't seen my videos, I'm talking about the way I'd swing a bat or throw a ball. A lot of body rotation and release out in front of me like this. Most people stall out here and throw early, stand up, chicken wing it. They do something, but they extend this side of the golf ball, which creates a bunch of inconsistency in ball contact and direction. So this sequence doesn't change. But if I'm hitting a shorter iron, I'm going to go back. There's going to be a little bit of a bump into this. I don't care when you do that. You can load here on the backswing. It doesn't matter, but you're going to have to get some weight to the front foot, because what I want to do on my downswing when this hip starts to clear is I want to push it behind me and I want to push in. And on a shorter iron, I want that to be pretty straight. Okay. For a middle iron, this is a 6-iron. For me nowadays, that's a middle iron. It's almost a long iron. So when I get into this position, the ball will go up a little bit in my stance. I'm still going to make the exact same transition, but there's not going to be quite as much push. I don't want to hit down into the ball as hard with a 6-iron as I may with a 9-iron. I don't need as big a divot. It's a little more sweepy. So I move the ball up a little bit in my stance, and I feel like what I call sternum neutral. So I'm 50-50 here. I still clear first. My hip still goes through. I still push my hip out a little bit, but there's going to be a little bit more angle here because I'm going to stay a little bit more right on top of the ball right here. I don't push into it quite as far, okay? So I set up here, go here, the hip still clears behind me, and I still push through, but I'm not quite as loaded on the front foot. And then the driver is the most unique of all. This is the only club in the bag where we got it on a tee. This is the only club in the bag where we're actually trying to bottom out before the ball and swing up, which means I can't hit the dirt. If I hit the ground on the driver, it's going to be about 3 inches behind the ball every time. And I'm going to drop kick it every time. So when we're swinging a driver, we shouldn't hear any impact on the ground. What we should hear is that. Just a hover noise through the ground. And that's because my low point's always going to be before the ball. And if that's the case, I'm going to hit up on it. I want to swing up on a driver. I want to take spin off of it. I'm hitting down on those short wedges because I want to put spin on the ball. Don't want spin on my driver. It's on a tee. I get to hit up on it. We tee it a half a ball higher so that when we come in, we're hitting up. Okay? Guys who sky the ball that see a lot of marks on their driver here, it's because they're hitting down, because they do cover, they get into here and they swing down on the ball. They got a lot of push forward. So you got to practice staying back. This is the closest swing you're going to make with the same exact sequence that you're going to have a feel like a baseball swing, which is a lot of torque here pushing this way. This hip almost wants to go behind me while this leg braces against that, throwing me this way. So it's a lot more like baseball. I'm swinging more like this for a driver. I'm swinging more here. I'm going to straighten this leg, and there's going to be a bit of a pushback on this side. So if I set up for a driver, it's more in front. Try and, particularly these guys who are a little steep and over the top, get your right shoulder a little bit behind you here. Go back, and from here, I want you to feel this move here. A lot more weight here than you'd have before. At impact, if you look at any tour pro, their wedge position is going to be way more here, and their driver is going to be way more here with some spine angle. After that, the club will pull you through, and you can kind of push up out of it. But you're going to have a lot more weight on your driver on your back foot, and you got to think, I'm going to sweep. I'm going to hit up on this. The tendency for some of you who have never done that is you're going to start hitting the ball fat right here. You just have to learn not to touch ground. My low point's always about 3 inches behind the ball. So if I hit the ground with my driver, I'm always going to drop kick it. So that's always why you hear this when I swing a club, not dirt, not ground. Okay? So again, set up. Club's a little bit maybe left heel or toe. Right shoulder comes for some of you who get pushy here. Try to get your right shoulder underneath here. Get here and clear your hip, but try to feel you leave more weight back here than you would for any other club. Okay, guys? I'm going to give you a couple of examples of this. Okay, guys. Hey, to kind of illustrate the point I'm making, I got a shot here of McIlroy hitting an iron and hitting a driver. So you can see the position differences. And it basically is spine angle and where he is with his head. and how he's swinging up on the driver and more downward on the iron. I want you to notice a couple things that impact here, the difference in how much further behind his head is and his torso on a driver rather than an iron. So he's still cleared his hips. Look at his hips. They're both still pointing way out. I'm going to draw some lines here. His belt buckle here, still cleared out here. Here's belt buckle here, still cleared out here. He's still leading with his lower body. He's got all that weight pushing into that left hip and clearing. So all of that's the same sequence. But if I go down from his collar to his belt buckle on his iron and kind of go this direction, you can tell that's about a 70-degree angle. And his eyes are just behind the golf ball here. If I do the same thing here and I go from his lapel to he's about 55 degrees here. So he's got about 15% more, or 15 degree more side tilt. And if I go straight down his eyes, you can tell how much further behind the ball he is from here. And then the other thing I want to show you, I'm going to clear these lines, but I want to show you, I'm going to back this up just a bit. Look how low he is to the ground here. So he's bottoming out here and actually swinging up on this driver to hit that shot. And if I take him back a few clicks on his, let me clear all these. So he's really close to the ground here, and he's got to get that club working upwards to hit the ball. If I go back here on his iron, you can tell from this position right in here how high the club is coming in to the impact. So he's not going to bottom out here until after he hits the ball, he hits the ground right there. Okay, that's where his low point is, somewhere out in front of the golf ball. His low point on this swing is somewhere near where he is now. Might be slightly in front of that, but by the time he hits it, look how much higher the club is. So that's the only point I'm trying to make in this video. Let's go to work.